Hey guys, Matty Miller with Pursuit Real Estate here, and today we are talking about real estate, of course, and we are talking about a subsection of our market that it may or may not pertain to you, but we're going to specifically look at the condo market here in Duval County and break down what is kind of happening there and if there's opportunities for buyers or what that means for sellers as well. All right, guys. So the Duval County market, as far as condos is considered, and what I'm going to try to do over the next couple months here is break down different subsections of our market. For instance, the Duval County condo market, Duval County single family, what's happening at the beaches, what's happening in northern St. Johns County, things like that, to kind of give you guys some more information on subsections of the market, not just an overall general picture. But today we're talking about the Duval County condo market, which for some of you that have been in that market, you know it's had its struggles for sure. So letting you guys know that, and this is the kind of the overarching thing, we kind of hit our peak in July of 2023. We had our average condo is selling at 241. We are currently down about 14%, 13.7 to be exact, from that peak in July of 2023. So 14% is a pretty good decline, and there's a few reasons for that. Now, that being said, the median sale price of everything is down a little bit. I believe I want to say it's down about 8 to 9% in some areas. That doesn't mean all areas. That means some. So we're sticking with that. But what's causing that is a couple things, and we're going to go through that. And number one, obviously, is interest rates were obviously at an all-time low. We had that aspect. A couple different things we got to keep in mind. The insurance situation. And a lot of people aren't familiar with I believe it was the Sunrise condos down in South Florida that kind of collapsed. So the insurance stabilization is starting to get a little bit better. So insurance is starting to level off a little bit, where it was a massive increase of insurance, and the structural integrity was the other side of that. Structural integrity is basically any condo that's 3 stories or higher had to have a structural integrity reserve study. So that means basically they had to put a bunch of special assessments on condos. So as those have gotten assessed over the last couple of years, a lot of people said, oh my gosh, this is so expensive, I don't want to be here anymore. But selling them were hard because there was elevated cost, of course. So it could have been an overreaction from one issue happening. So we're starting to see it stabilize a little bit. But again, the decline of that is because the cost went up. The other side of that is, at some point, condos for buyers might be another option. And as that continues to decline, we're starting to see some condos start to move. I would anticipate probably seeing close to a 15 to 20% drop from the peak. And that means if we were at $200,000, we're talking about a $30,000 to $40,000 decrease of what it was in the past. That's nice. We're starting to see a lot of people that held on to these condos that were renting them, wanting to get out. They want to get out. They're willing to give seller concessions. We'll give you new AC. We did new flooring. We're giving you a whole bunch of stuff just to get out of these things because they're kind of sick of holding them. So it's a good opportunity for buyers to get back in that market. But overall, we're starting to see everything kind of stabilize in that market. But we are starting to realize that there's a whole bunch of condos in all of Florida, and it's impossible to think that people will never live in condos again, because everybody kind of wrote them off after a little while. The last couple of years, prices were high, fees were high, condo association dues went up, special assessments here and there. It kind of got a little wild, and everybody was pretty down on condos, and the market has shown that, obviously, being down almost 14% over 2 years. Or 3 years, actually. So we've seen that. So at some point, if you are a young buyer looking for a place, condos are not a terrible place to be. I don't think that a lot of these places have put in their fees at this point. So I don't see there's going to be a massive fee increase for these after they've now completed their structural integrity surveys. We're going to see some options there. If you're a seller and you haven't sold yet, probably not phenomenal. But at the same time, there are going to be buyers getting back in there, and we are hopeful that this market will continue to stabilize as it has in the last few months. So if you guys have questions about condos, specific condos in the beaches, in the South Side, in St. Johns County, which I can look at that too. There's not a ton of them in St. Johns County, but there are a few. But if you guys have questions about condos in specific areas of town, feel free to let me know. If you're a seller, let me know. I'll let you know what the market looks like. If you're a buyer, hey, let's look at the best place that has the best fees for the best price. We can break all that stuff down. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. My name is Matty Miller with Pursuit Real Estate. We'll talk to you guys soon.